What's up, family? It's Nick Wright Bodybuilding, and I'm here with Bob Arcan and Nick Pinero of Olympus Iron.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Hold on, real quick. Check out the new hoodies.
Woo!
We got hooked up. Both XLs.
Yep.
So we're gonna be rocking these for a while now.
I'm rocking a large because I'm short, but
Check him out at Kyle Hunt's page. Go right now.
yeah, Kyle Hunt is the man who does actually my diet and his diet. When we actually compete, we're both fluffier now.
Yep.
But he also hosts NWB Gear, the official sponsor of NWB. So all of it is in the link below if you want to check these out.
Talking about competition, let's talk about competition plans, Nick, right?
Oh.
Yeah, what are
Alright.
we gonna do for the next following year, 2 years? What do we have in store?
What's in your mind right now? Let me pull this
Okay.
out.
All right. So a little recap for those of you who may not be following the videos consistently, or those of you who are brand new to the channel. I've said in some recent videos that I lost motivation for the competition scene. Some people took it the wrong way. Some people actually got mad, like, oh, I believe in you, you're just giving up, this and that.
Why are you so mad, bro?
It was never like that. I was never giving up. But literally just, I was still bodybuilding day in, day out, still eating, still training, and I was very into strength training. Literally just the whole process of actually stepping on stage, signing up, getting tan, going to step on stage, I lost interest in it for a while. What happened initially where I realized I was losing interest was last year when I competed in 2012 in Muscle Beach, California. My prep went horribly. The first portion of the prep, up to about 9 weeks out, went amazingly. 3D Muscle Journey, Matt Ogus, Chris Lovato, their coach, actually saw a picture of me online and said in a forum that they didn't know who I was. I believe it's Alberto Nunez specifically. So they didn't know who I was, but for 9 weeks out, I was right on point because there was a forum discussing my conditioning for 9 weeks out. After about 9 weeks out, though, I kind of strayed off my diet a little. Some of you guys remember I came in looking good for my show, looking. I mean, I was shredded, but I definitely was not where I should have been. I was not contest shredded, and I came in real flat. His conditioning was not where it should have been, and that was pretty much because at that point, different issues, girlfriend issues, job issues.
You weren't focused.
I wasn't focused at all, and what I took away from that was the biggest difference was. When you compete, because I've done 7 shows, I've been doing this since I was 15 years old. When you compete, no other issue, girlfriend, jobs, family, whatever, no other issue really seems to ever bother you because you're so tunnel vision on that competition. It's an addiction. It's all you focus on. It's all that's important to you. Everything else takes a backseat to it. This time around, all these other issues around me were coming in and they were stressing me out, and I ended up putting the competition in the backseat. I literally had the mindset that, oh, this show is an inconvenience. I wish the show was done. I just got to get the show over with. And I already had sponsors invested in bringing me out there, so I couldn't just quit on it now. So I ended up doing it, but basically the point is, it was very clear to me afterwards that the fact that I was getting distracted showed that my head wasn't really in it. I shouldn't have done the show in the first place. And looking back, the only reason I really did the show was because everybody on YouTube, my sponsors, different photographers were all just saying that, do a show, Nick, it's been a while, do a show, it's been a year, 2 years, so I did one.
That's the worst reason to do a show, is because that. And that's probably why it wasn't your best appearance or you weren't that into it, you know what I mean? You needed to put everything into it. You know what I mean? Nothing should bother you during that because you have a focus. You know, you're driven for that specific show. So nothing should get in the way.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, exactly.
So what has changed since you moved to Rhode Island? And you've trained with us quite a few times, and you've obviously got a new girlfriend, new surrounding situations. So where's your head at right now?
Pretty much. All right. So when I was in Virginia last, I was training with my boys. Shout out Max Tuning on YouTube. He's one of my friends, along with obviously Paul Baber, Daryl, Chase, the whole Virginia crew. You guys remember some of them from my videos and whatnot. And they were awesome training partners to live with. I was I was in some solitude in that city. I didn't have a whole lot of friends, so I was new there, which is cool. I could focus on just eating and training, and I had great training partners. They were consistent, so I was very into training. But the competition aspect I wasn't really into. Again, I was just too burnt out from that last show. I didn't want anything to do with competing for a while. Coming back up here, obviously, I moved, and I'm getting more and more involved in the industry of fitness, like behind the scenes. And I started seeing, the drama side of it, the petty side of it, the ugly side of it, business-wise. I'm not talking about the dark side of fitness, just like steroids and lying. I'm talking about the actual politics and the relationships that go on behind the scenes. I started getting real bitter, and I started seeing how so many shows are not really natural. I started seeing how so many shows are politic-based. It's a big thing.
Who your coaches are.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter how good you are.
It's
who your coach is and basically who you're blowing to actually win this show. So I started getting real bitter about that. And then at the same time, I was also going through some mental healing of my own, to get through some other personal stuff. And in doing this, I kind of reevaluated myself, and I found a lot more value within myself, and I realized what's actually important. And that's when I also kind of, for the first time, snapped out of this whole obsession with needing to base my entire value off how my physique looks. I lost that obsessiveness about eating and obviously I ate like a beast and I still train like a beast, but I lost the obsessiveness of all of it, which I actually like. And I kind of started realizing that's why I decided not to go on juice, because I was getting close to the point of temptation, but I decided not to go on juice. I realized, like, what am I doing it for? Other people? And I reevaluated all my values. I was like, all right, bodybuilding, this competition thing is essentially, it's a beauty pageant for men. And unfortunately, even worse than that, on top of being a beauty pageant for men, it's now becoming a dick measuring contest, essentially. Not literally, no pun intended there, but in the sense of politics, in the sense of getting your name out there, and all the BS drama that goes back and forth in this industry. So I became real bitter about it, actually, around the time when I moved up. So then I was burnt out from competition, didn't find a huge amount of importance in it because I put value elsewhere, and then I got bitter about it. So,
well, honestly, like, my view is, because I've obviously seen Nick P talk about his experiences and how he goes in and it's a complete mental fuck, really, because it's like, nothing is going to stand in his way.
You have to be there mentally.
What Nick Pinheiro does right is that he goes in there not to win, but to look the best on stage that he possibly can. And if he gets that first place trophy, then so what? And that's what I want to do with my show. My plans are to do a show within a year, and it'll be one of my first natural show. And so far, the two influences I have to my left, you're right, are actually insanely good, because it's like I'm not thinking about winning right at this point. I'm thinking about actually coming in at my best looking physique, at my leanest, and then let the cards fall where they may. Because if you think about that politics, and you think about winning, and you size your dick up to the competition, so to speak, you're going to drive yourself nuts, and you're going to do it for the wrong reason.
And that's what I told him. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to come in first. I'm going to come in first. I'm going to come in first." I was like, "Well, all right. Don't think of that, because you don't know who's going to be at the show. You don't want to know who's going to be at the show. You literally do everything you possibly can." So there isn't an option for you to lose. Now, when I did my first show, I got the list of competitors in, okay? First thing everyone wants to do is go check them out on Facebook or go do something like that. My dad wanted to. He was right next to me. He goes, "Let's check some of these kids out." I don't want to see what they look like, I said. I don't want to see what they look like.
And when Nick says something that he doesn't want to do, trust me, motherfuckers, it's not happening.
I didn't know one kid in that show, even in backstage, we were all pumping up. I kept my head down the whole time. I didn't know what we looked like until we were all out there.
That's a big difference.
I didn't know one kid. One kid. I had no idea what they looked like.
That's what I used to do for all my shows too. And actually, one of my friends was backstage with me, and he noticed the difference, because at this last show, I actually looked up and I was like, "Oh, some of these guys look good in this show." And he's like, "That's not like you. You never do that."
Exactly. You don't want to look up. Don't want to look up. I kept my head down. I kept to myself. I pumped up. I saw some kid doing squats next to me, and I kind of giggled.
So, and not to have a 20-minute video, but that said, what they just said there has actually been a big help. So now, being back up here, getting settled in a new place, finally feeling like I have my own space again, I've been hanging out with them a lot more, and that bitterness is starting to wear off finally. I think I just needed a break from it, and it's starting to actually wear off. And I was talking to Bob about it. First off, seeing that kind of motivation and ambition is inspiring as it is, because he's done the competition. And then talking to Bob about how excited he was for his first show reminded me of how exciting a show should be. And I was actually telling Bob that I've thought about dieting down and jumping on stage in a local, fun OCB show, a natural one, and not even telling anybody publicly, not even sharing it publicly, just for the sake of getting back to having fun with it again.
The main reason why you did it in the first place.
Yeah, which I'm not going to do.
Anyone else.
I'm going to tell you guys if I do a show, but I'm just saying, it's helped me get my mindset back in the right.
We're surrounding it with positivity.
Yeah, so,
positivity. That's the key.
So I'm going to give myself a good amount of time right now. Now, this could change. You guys know me. I could change my mind in a month or so, but right now, I mean, I could say easily, yes, 2 years before I jump on stage again. And in that 2 years, it would be, now this is just a rough, next month I could be saying, "Oh, hey, I'm going to do a show in 6 months."
Yeah.
But right now I feel like 2 years, but in that 2 years, I'm gonna keep this channel running. And I'm gonna make it very productive. I might dabble in powerlifting. I'm still gonna be very into bodybuilding. You'll see me with training with them for other shows. I'm gonna be aiming at a show this whole time. It's not gonna be like just Nick's chilling, eating, lifting. I'm gonna be building up for the show. And when I do step on stage again, I want to actually go for my natural pro card. So there's a plan. My next aim is natural pro card.
Like the rest of bodybuilding, it takes time.
It does.
It's a process, you know what I mean? He's working towards something. So him training day in and day out, he may not be doing a show for 2 years, but what he's doing tomorrow is going to affect how he's going to look on stage in 2 years.
Yep.
So it all plays in. All plays in.
So a big moral of the story here also, guys, is you are who you surround yourself with. And it's funny because even like my girlfriend, when I started dating, she's a very positive person. You know, she's hung around some not so good influences in the past, and she even noticed how, like, just hanging around these guys is awesome. Always good vibe, always motivational, inspiring, and obviously I feel the same exact way. I've even said to them and to her that the one time, we try to hang out at least once a week because we live a decent distance apart from each other, if not more, but try to at least get in once a week, and I tell everybody that the one time I get to chill with Olympus Iron is like my weekly reset. That totally refreshes me and resets me, so...
well, you put it into perspective for us too, because you've had so much experience. We're new to this YouTube game. We're not new to the fitness community, but we're new to what you guys want to see, and like it's just an interesting perspective to see somebody who really started the YouTube world as a teen. He's the first real teen.
Yeah, it was the first. You were the first one. I remember watching you years ago. Maybe when I was 15, 16, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I honest to God, I was watching his channel. I don't remember any other channels around then.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think I was watching Scott Herman.
Yeah, Scott and Scooby. I think
Scott was
Scooby
around,
went to-
and Scooby, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it's so much. There's so much more now. There's Instagram. There's Twitter. There's Facebook. And by the way, if you haven't, Nick Wright NWB and at Olympus Iron. That's our Twitter and our Instagram, and we're
It's
both
all in the info box below.
Yep, we have in the info box below, and also we both have Facebook pages. So if you don't want to always go onto YouTube and have to sift through, what to watch, if we usually post our videos, so you can just
Check our Facebook.
Yeah, check our Facebook
Stuff on there as well.
Absolutely.
Stay connected.
All right, guys. So that's it. Moral of the story is surround yourself with good vibes. As for me, I will be jumping on stage, and the next time I do will be for my pro card. But I want to let all of you know that I plan on taking some time off, but making the most of this time off, and it's not going to slow down and get boring at all. Again, getting tanned and stepping on stage is one day out of the year, and it's a very small portion of this overall bodybuilding game. So stay healthy, guys.
Later, guys.
Adios.
Yeah.
Some baby weight curls for bodybuilders. Like Nick Wright. Nick Wright.